my privilege to introduce and welcome our second expert speaker, Dr. Lal Singh, who is with us. Dr. Lal Singh is the founder director of the Himalayan Research Group, a non-government organization which was established in 1997 with the mandate of scientific innovations and technology transfer for community development. HRG's initiatives of community development through technology, innovation, and transfer were supported by different national and international agencies. Since 2005, HRG is one of the organizations supported under the prestigious Core Support Program of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Dr. Lal Singh is responsible for coordination of activities in different fields, which mainly include solar energy use in domestic energy needs, button mushroom cultivation for livelihood, medicinal and aromatic plants cultivation for conservation and rural enterprises, vermiculture biotechnology for agriculture productivity, fungal biotechnology for product development, traditional food crops, fodder development, and household and agri-tourism in mountains. While working with the Himalayan Research Group, Dr. Lal Singh is instrumental in developing development of SNT business models for sustainable rural livelihoods and natural resource management. In these areas, Dr. Singh implemented around 40 projects supported by different national and international organizations in the last 2 decades. During these years, Dr. Singh visited USA, UK, Canada, Thailand, and Finland on invitation to work in these fields, training and delivering invited talks. Dr. Singh remained members of different committees, which include Steering Committee on Voluntary Sector for 12th Five-Year Plan of the then Planning Commission of India, Research Policy Committee of Indian Council of Board, Forestry Research and Education, Dehradun, National Medicinal Plants Board Committee, constituted for formulating operational guidelines of mission medicinal plants for supply chain management. Dr. Lal Singh was awarded HP State Innovation Award in 2018 for developing mountain solar water heating system. Now I request Dr. Lal Singh to kindly enlighten us with his words of wisdom. Kamal, is Dr. Lal Singh?
Yes, yes. Sir, I'm unmuting you. Please go ahead. Am I audible, sir? I'll just have a word with sir, ma'am.
In the meanwhile, I was just having a discussion with Dr. Lal Singh when I had this opportunity of contacting him for this expert lecture today. And we had a quite detailed discussion in which Dr. Lal Singh gave me many insights how we being technical engineers, I think all of the participants, there are many faculty members, there are students, there are researchers. And after getting enlightened by Dr. Joshi's lecture, I'm sure this question must be coming in your mind that how can we contribute as technologists in connecting with the soil. So I think when you hear from Dr. Lal Singh, you'll get answer to this question, because how we as engineers can contribute in the area of agriculture. Dr. Lal Singh, expert, he has joined us. Welcome back, sir.
Thank
Sir, you've got muted. Please kindly unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm sorry and extremely sorry. The moment you introduced me, the power goes up.
It's okay,
And
sir.
there was some issue. So nice of you for bearing with me. And thank you very much for inviting me to this important webinar. And I think most of the things have been covered in terms of data, in terms of the environment, and in terms of the dividend. This maximum discussion has already taken place with Dr. Joshi. That I shall be concentrating mainly to some primary level initiative at the field level, that how we are working, and to develop the things in a desired manner. And I'll be discussing 4 or 5 things what we are working with, so that people can understand that how we are actually looking into this. And I hope you will be able to see my screen. Uh, my screen is okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
It is visible, but it is still coming up, sir. So we cannot see the content right now. So
Okay.
it's blank, sir. As of now, it's blank.
It's blank.
Yes. Yeah, now we can see, sir.
Now you can see. Okay.
Sir, it's a request. Actually, you must be having some comments or something on your screen. Actually, they are appearing like check boxes to us. So I would request you to kindly drag them to the right side so that they don't interrupt your. Yeah, now it's fine, sir.
Now it's fine. Okay, fine. Thank you. The discussion related to ushering vibrant demography is taking place, and much has been discussed. But here, basically, that discussed by Dr. Joshi also, that everything is to be respected and nothing is to be ignored. And he stressed more about the rural areas and how we work in rural areas, how we work with land, how we work with the environment. And basically we have been working almost for last 2.5 decade now, that right from the establishment of our group, we thought of working at the grassroots level, and with a kind of mix of technologies or bringing in some new thoughts and new inputs to the ground level, so that we can talk of economic development, we can talk of women empowerment, we can talk of youth development, and we can talk of environment as well. But normally we were not talking straightway, as most of us work in a non-government sector, that if you ask them, they are working for environment, but we are working with a solution. That's why here I have given a title, that technology, a tool to achieve the self-reliance. Because this is a very different kind of state we are put to, due to COVID infection. And as mentioned, maximum people are coming back to the rural areas. They are jobless and they wanted to have something, as well as they need something to feed their families, and they also need to address the demand of the families in terms of food, in terms of medical supplies, in terms of nutrition, and many things. But when we are looking for a self-reliance, I have some popular saying that in case of page down, it is not changing. Yes, it is changing. That self-reliance activities, if we talk of young generation, we need to motivate them that they should identify themselves. I am and I can means, what are the strengths in those people, whosoever come from outside or whosoever is looking for a job, ultimately how they can identify themselves, that who they are and what they can do. And that is a very important point, that where we need to groom them. And then once they identify their strengths, their knowledge, their intelligence, then the getting their thoughts organized means how they will reach to the things they plan, and the mission, what they want to accomplish. All these things, we need to make them understand. And right from the beginning, if somebody is able to orient them in this way, they may be in a mid career, they may be in a starting career, or they may be in a later stages of their life. This is very important, that in changing climate or changing scenario, that how we guide them. And this guidance normally in young ages we receive from the parents, and during schooling we get it from the teachers, and in institutions, and ultimately from the market, where we ultimately have to play. This is something very important, and education institute like yours is, I think, something which is not grooming only the students, also grooming the teachers. That is very important in a changing scenario, and with a very learned people as a faculty, very learned people as a directors and professors. And there is an interaction which provide them a way how they identify themselves and how they get organized, and they develop a personal mission to go about. That is most important, I think, to realize our strengths and to execute our strengths. And particularly in rural areas, most of these things are lacking. And as Dr. Joshi talked about the education, in education also, ultimately, how many of us are able to get such kind of things where we stand as I can getting organized or setting a personal mission. And this is something very important. And now some era of startup has come up, and so Biman has come up. There are many schemes which are promoting all these things. IITs are grooming people who are thinking of setting up of their product, setting up of their companies, and this is a new era. And some people are able to afford, some people are able to get into this channel, but most of the time people in rural areas are not able to get into this system. Their organization like ours are more important. Basically, here with the Steve Jobs big saying, don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voices. This is something very important. As and when we think of doing something, I remember my time when in 1997 we were there to launch a group. Many people said that it is going to be a few days affair. Only this kind of group can be run by somebody who's retired. But when you have a mission, you have identified yourself. You should stick to your mission. This is what Steve Jobs has said, because there will be a lot of noise when you start doing something for self-reliance or developing something which can cater to the need of others as well. This is very, very important that we should learn how to stand, how to identify, and how to be protective of all those noises which try to drag you down. And all of the participants must be knowing the technology definition. But why I am mentioning this technology definition here, you can see on the screen, is technology is the application of science to address the problems of daily life. That may be from ancient time, from hunting tool, or to agriculture advances in nowadays, or to manual and electronic ways of computing to today's tablet and smartphones. Why I am trying to mention this is here, because most of the time nowadays it is being confused that mobile or IT is the only technology. Rest is not the technology. That is the thought. Because most of the people, if we go to the rural areas, we talk to them that this is something you need to do. The first thing they say, हमारे पास मोबाइल फोन तो स्मार्टफोन नहीं है. So that doesn't mean they can't do anything, but this has a perception even at the grassroots level that they need something that is a smartphone, that is a tablet, or that is what we have one gadget. I think that is wasting time of most of us. Most of the time, whosoever is not aware about the uses of this and they are into a time wasting exercise, this is what we felt at the grassroots level. And there need to be some hard solution we need to think. When we are thinking of a problem of daily life, because I cite an example of, for example, energy need in mountains, right? The kind of situation we live, as Dr. Joshi also mentioned, that mountain households need energy to keep them warm and heat water. Only then they can be keeping themselves clean. They will be able to clean the utensils. They will be able to clean the houses. They will be able to clean the clothes. But ultimately, if you see the scenario, almost 100% households in mountains are dependent on fuel wood, or in cold deserts, we are having high dependence on dung. Women used to collect dung from the pastures, from the grazing fields. And 6 months women's job is to collect dung only. Because so that they can keep their houses warm, they can cook during 6 months of the winter. And that is consuming maximum of their life and maximum time what they have in their lifetime. And there are some pictures you can just see how polluting it is, how treacherous and how full of drudgery it is. And then, as a scientist who is looking for some kind of Atmanirbharta in terms of fuel, or looking for some solution for a community at the grassroots level, we thought of devising some system that which can heat the room, which can heat the water. Why so? Because these two activities were consuming around 55 to 60% of fuel wood. And hot water availability is a major kind of constituent of keeping the health and hygiene of a household. And all the time they have to keep one vessel at the fireplace for hot water, and whole day their fireplace is burning. And in that situation, normally we used to have the hot water system, solar hot water system, mainly which was imported from China. and that is cost intensive and not user friendly, and do not work manually filling with the cold water, and it freezes during winter time and pipe breaks, and ultimately it is of no use. And in that case, we developed a water heating system and space heating system, which has become very popular over a period of time. And people have been utilizing this system across Ladakh and Himachal. Until now, we are able to install around 1000 plus system of this kind. And it has been demonstrated to Honorable Environment Minister, then Dr. Harshvardhan, and Science and Technology Minister that time also, this time also, you can see in the pictures. This is some important innovation which has taken place, and over a period of time it has been used by the local people and made them smile that without fireplace they can see the hot water flowing out of it, and it is almost equally efficient and rather more efficient than the commercial available systems, and it is robust, it can be manually filled, and it can be night drained to prevent freezing and provide 100 liters of water for a family size of 4 and 5, and it is very very suitable, and this is an innovation which was scientifically evaluated over a period of time and with a data logger kind of a sophisticated remote equipment, and found to save 40% of fuel wood and 40% women time in saving of fuel wood, and that time is available to improve her life, leisure time and health issues what she get because of the treacherous collection of the fuel wood, and indoor pollution level was reduced, and ultimately household older people and the girl child, they are more healthy. And this was the system, which is otherwise available in a market and normally made up of a china glass, we call it, and fabricated outside, and even if somebody has to install, he has to be specialized and come from outside. But in our case it was fabricated by the rural villages artisan carpenter and plumbers, and 2016-17, and we were selected for innovation award, and this was awarded in 2018, and the system was further demonstrated to different government and line departments, and you can see secretary science and technology government of india looking at the systems. One was in hyderabad and pune, and other is, and lower picture is of dehradun, and then department of science and technology made a popular material of this, and it was displayed in the Vigyan rail, Vigyan train, and the climate change train. There were, it was displayed, and it was talked at many exhibitions and displayed by Vigyan, this Vigyan Prasar at many places. And now it is a complete enterprise for a rural artisan. And in last 3 years, I'll be happy to share here that they are able to earn 15 lakh plus rupees out of fabrication of these systems. And we have floated this idea to develop a startup to have a franchisee model where more and more artisan will be involved into it. And this was incubated at IIT Mandi. And we won that Himalayan Startup Track competition in 2019. And 3 month incubation was there. And we have completed that phase. And now we are independently developing one startup company for the fabrication of the innovative energy solutions for rural areas, especially in mountains. And the second thing, you see the setting in villages, that a lot of fodder is required, and fodder is mainly collected by women. And the figure was shown that the women participation is coming down, but in a rural setting, women participation in day-to-day activity is much much higher than the men, and there again lot of drudgery is involved in it. You can see how scary the fodder collection kind of a practice is. Women climb high trees for lopping, and the improved breeds of the livestock which are provided under a loan scheme or provided under the dairy development schemes, there is no method of improving nutrition of livestock. They are unproductive, and the population of stray cattle is increasing on the roads, and therefore this is all a kind of a burden. And basically, until unless we improve the nutrition, livestock is not going to improve health wise or productivity wise. Therefore, we developed a simple technology model that a value addition of the kind of grasses or agriculture residues what farmer has at their home, and so that they can value add to it and process it to make it more nutritious, little bit of scientific technique fermentation like silage making and all. And also plant some improved fodder grasses on the bunds of the contour lands, so that there is no competition with the agriculture productivity or agriculture crop. But this particular innovation was done where, we produce regular fodder and green fodder even during winter time. There is no need to feed dry kind of a fodder, hay or maize stems kind of thing, which are less nutritious and deteriorate the health of the livestock, and they go down in terms of productivity. But this model worked very well and is very, very popular among the rural areas, and we have covered large area under this second model. And people were provided with the planting material, they were provided technology package, and now the women groups are the entrepreneurs. They provide the planting material on cost to the others. And that is how this chain is happening. You can see the bund of one of the field is, green, and this remains green most part of the year. Otherwise, the kind of fodder people were harvesting, that was a weed. Nobody knows how nutritious it is and how important it is for a livestock's health. But this is certified, produced by agriculture universities, and this is the one of the best fodder, and women need not to go any far off to fetch the fodder. And with this, we are able to improve the productivity of livestock and reduce the wastage of the fodder, and at the same time providing further available time of the women where she can have rest. And as Dr. Joshi talked about the next model, this picture depicts the Taxus plant. Dr. Joshi mentioned that this is the plant Taxus wallichiana. One of the Indian scientists found one chemical in it. This is a trade name Taxol, which was used for treating of the women uterus and breast cancers. And the whole of the right of the world were with only one company, Mayor Squibb, in US. And the one cycle of the treatment, what they devised was $10,000 in 1990. And then this whole plant, as you can see, women collecting the leaves and packing it, and finally, supplying these to US. In this case, what exactly happened? We were left with all dry resources of this particular plant, and our biodiversity was harmed to a maximum extent for the treatment of people outside India. We were not knowing the technology, we were not knowing about the compound, but it was all done by the MNCs. And then, only thing we could do, we stopped extraction of it under Biodiversity Conservation Act. Now this plant is banned. And we oriented people about this and other plants which are important. This is a COVID time that everybody is fighting to control the COVID. But we had a very long history of treating viruses with the traditional technique and Ayurveda therapies. But those were not streamlined and mainstreamed, and there was no work carried out to do the all clinical trials and others. But we were knowing that medicinal plant has a strength that which can cure a large section of the people which may not be economically better off. And this is the way how we organize the community for one of the plant called the Charaita. And in that case, we provided the seed, we provided the orientation, training, and everything. And this is one plant which has been found a very, very good in controlling viruses. There are lot many studies related to Charaita if you see it at the Google. And there are around 362 species of this particular plant. And it is documented in Ayurveda that the Charaita is one of the best plant and to treat with many virus and bacterial infections, liver ailments, anti-diabetic, and what not. But we try to cultivate it on agriculture field. Our group took almost 10 years to devise the agro technique of this one species, Versia cordata, and now it is in agriculture field and farmers are producing it on a commercial basis. In 2011, 333 women produced around 25 quintals of it and sold to Dabur with 7.33 lakh rupees in one day. That was the return which was exhibited. But the problem was that in a successive years, companies were looking for distressed sale of this and people were losing profits. Now we have planned again a startup for this and a value addition at the site of production where we are developing a tea bag sachet of this that you can use it as a tea or you can use it as an infusion. You keep the sachet in a hot water or room temperature water during night. In the morning, you get up and have this for treating your diabetes. And in addition to the allopathy medicine, and this is a traditional practice, and for viruses also this can be had infusion or as well as a decoction. But in a startup mode, we need to get everything certified, we need to get everything registered, we need to get everything permitted under the law, but it is taking some time. But we have done prototyping and other things, and now recently industry department has selected this intervention under a startup scheme of Himachal Pradesh to further development of it. And now you see many people have come from outside and everybody is looking for some immediate cash returns. How to generate cash? We set up one of the mushroom composting unit long back in 2002 in response to one of the DST funded training project. Because DST funded one women empowerment program of mushroom cultivation in Himachal. But when we went to the field, we found people are interested in cultivating, but they don't have the basic skill, they don't have the compost, they won't have the spawn. But we being qualified, we set up a unit with a bank loan. That time, as an enterprise where 12 people were employed, and I'm happy to say that in last 20 years, those 12 people who joined to build the factory, they are today one of the best scientists in making the seeded compost, pasteurized compost. We supply around 300 metric ton to the farmers in different parts of the state. And this is one activity which provide 100 to 120% net profit in 3 months time. And this is the highest ever return in any venture in a shortest possible time. And now somebody even coming from a software company or from some engineer company coming back to the villages, and their job is no longer continued, and people are coming in large number to understand how they can cultivate mushroom to grow, to add to their family income. And this is the activity which provides opportunity to the grower, to the transporter, to the vegetable vendors, to the supplier of raw material from Punjab like wheat straw and chicken manure. And it is a large chain, and annually, if we see, it is circulating very, very good amount among the society. And the scientists who carried out this model of our group and my colleague, Dr. Maninder Jeet Kaur, was awarded National Award for Women Empowerment in 2007, and the then president awarded that. That was a big kind of sport for us, and recognition of our group and our effort at the community level. And there is a lot many option, as Dr. Joshi talked about, in agriculture sector, which fill our stomach, which provide transporter a job, which provide a trader a job. And there is a large number of people involved into a sector. We, as a state of as a apple producer state, produce apple of around 5 to 7,000 crores, and it is something very important to understand that how we work and how we contribute to the economy. And in further today's time, that people are looking for nutrition, people are looking for the clean food, and we are reviving traditional crops which with the pace of time to run for an economy people had forgotten. These are the barley, beans, and everything. These are coming back, and people are looking all these nutritious food to increase their immunity, because immunity is linked with the kind of intake you have in terms of food and fruits. And this is all contributing to the local area development, local population development. Outside people are heavily dependent. For example, Apple, up to Chennai, up to Calcutta, up to Hyderabad, everybody comes to buy apple from Himachal to set their annual trade through cold chain and through transports. And at the end, I would like to mention here that this is something, the activity, what we started in the beginning in late 90s when we set up the unit. And again, as I mentioned, that there was a lot of hue and cry about the people, by the people, what we were doing and my group was doing. As and when I was in a village, I taught the people how to prepare vermicompost because that time it was starting to enrich the agriculture soil. And we were moving with a bag of dung having earthworms in a car to different villages. Then one of my relative came to visit my mom and mentioned that ultimately इसको गोबर ही उठाना था तो इसने क्या पीएचडी की उसका क्या फायदा है तो nobody could understand that this dung made us progress to a level that I am today able to talk to you people. And this is something we need to express at every platform that any job you do is not small. If that contribute to the public, that contribute to the community, that contribute to the system is something very, very good. And now this vermicompost is an enterprise for around 179 households. They annually sell around 2 to 3 lakh rupees vermicompost. Maximum portion of that comes to our mushroom unit where we prepare casing soil for mushroom out of it. And rest they sell whenever they have surplus material to the orchidists, to the progressive farmers, to the people in urban areas for the ornamental plants. And but the women they have been making money with which they can sustain their life and they can buy items of their choice. This is something very important. Otherwise, in a rural setting, every woman has to ask money from a husband or a male counterpart to buy something of their choice. And this is something in nutshell a methodology what we have, that formation of a basic knowledge and action network with community objectives and creation of integrated development support infrastructure and services, and then implementation of proposed activities and documentation. And these are the three things which flows down to address to the need of specific sector in specific area, and with a technology kind of a backup and a trained people doing this for the last 2 decades are able to inculcate these property of developing their own enterprise of mushrooms, their own enterprise of vermicompost, their own enterprise of fodder development, and a rural kind of a artisan network. And this is changing life of people at the grassroots level. And this is the way people you can feel they are very smiling when cash flow through their hands, and they get very good food, they get clean environment, and they get leisure time, and ultimately they are also learning how to be happy in a remote and difficult areas. And in conclusion, what I have to say is this is a era of knowledge. Youngsters can explore many things. Opportunities for young to innovate and manage is a very big field now. Government is supporting them in a big way and apply knowledge in the field for solving everyday life needs with marketable produce and services. Application of need-based technology at the grassroots level for self-reliance is something very, very important that people must look into. Pledge for collaboration with community and corporate. If somebody is thinking to be very big, at some back end they need a supply, and that will obviously come from a community. And at the next stage where the refinement is required and some further machinery is required, that can be through corporate kind of houses. And this kind of collaboration is required to have some cutting edge technologies for the youngsters to develop some self-sustaining kind of enterprises. And if we are self-sufficient in energy, we are self-sufficient in health, food, nutrition, livelihood, employment, only then we can say that we have achieved the self-reliance. And I think the technology has to play a major role in marketing, in production, in processing, in developing new things, with the pace of time. And this is all what I have to say now is that have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. This is again said by Steve Jobs. And I need not to introduce Steve Jobs to you. This is how I think we develop ourselves and we think about ourselves. We will be able to do something good for ourselves as well as to the community or as well as to the country's initiative of Honorable Prime Minister, what has been announced recently, Atmanirbhar Abhiyan. And individually, everybody has to be Atmanirbhar. And every family has to be Atmanirbhar. And every family, every village, every panchayat, every block, every district, almost every state, and that is the way how I think we can move further. And this is all I'm supposed to speak today. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to look for questions now. I hope the presentation you could see nicely, and I think there must be some new things might which have been coming to your mind now with my presentation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. I'm sure after Dr. Joshi's lecture, when he had sensitized our audience on the role of ecology and economy both, a question was there in the mind of our audience that what role can the technology play in making our India self-reliant? And your first slide itself, wherein you mentioned that technology, a tool to achieve the self-reliance, it answered most of the questions which was coming in our mind. So you have also touched upon the energy needs in mountains, and being from mountains myself, I can very well understand, I can relate to your presentation that how important it is that we as technologists venture into helping the common masses of mountains in their needs. And your cost-effective solar heating system was a perfect example of how we can become Atmanirbhar, and various other examples you've done, you have told. Now I would request our audience, in case they have any questions, as I can see, Dr. Balvinder Dhaliwal, he is asking, sir, how to market the mushroom produced at the homes.
This is something very obvious question. Everybody asks for marketing in terms of agriculture, and individually marketing is only possible when you can generate some marketable volume individually. But we do not go for that kind of exercise when we have a cluster of households, because we train people to carry out the activity in a far-flung area in a cluster. Then every morning, the participant of that cluster, they pool their crop at one place, and from there, that in one packing form, that goes to a nearby urban or semi-urban market center through a bus, local bus, or a vehicle going that side with a nominal payment to reduce the cost on transportation. And finally, it is pre-decided that who is going to collect it at the nearby urban center for further marketing. That may be agent, that may be a porter, that may be somebody as a contact point, and on a daily basis that is done with a minor payment to him, and ultimately whole of the produce within 4 hours or 6 hours of harvesting is marketed.
So Mr. Parveen Singh is asking, sir, how to get the capital that makes your idea into production?
Yeah, this is again related to money. And as I mentioned, we set up a unit of mushroom in 2002. That this question was a very big question for us that time, because we had an initial project from a DST for training of women with a 7 lakh rupees grant. That was entirely meant for training women, and almost 50% of that was for the salary, human resource kind of a cost, and only 3.5%, 3.5 lakh was for a training with my colleague. But that time I approached the lead bank at the district headquarters in Mandi in Himachal Pradesh. Hello.
So welcome back. Sir, can you please speak a few words so that we know that we can hear you?
Yeah, I can see. I can hear you. Can you?
Yes, sir, we can hear you and we can see you also. So we have some questions
Okay.
from our audience.
Ritula, I'll switch off my video because
sir.
there may be some issue.
Sure,
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So we have a question from our audience, Dr. Balvinder Singh Dhaliwal. He is asking, most of the time farmers do not get good price for their produce in the absence of MSP as it is happening in Punjab. What is your experience in case of mushroom production?
Basically, if we get into a MSP kind of a mode, particularly for a mushroom, that is most of the time is not available because of perishable, high perishable nature of it. Hello, can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes, we can
Yes,
hear
yes,
you.
you are audible, sir. Please continue.
Yeah. In that case, we normally don't have any MSP, but we segregate our cultivation and the supply to market in different areas, and keeping in view a proper market survey in the initial go before setting up a cluster. In that sense, we pre-decide a kind of a market rate for a buyback with a buyer. In that case, most of the time we get a premium price of 100 rupees per kg, and this particular cost gives 120% net profit to the growers. And we do not rely much upon this MSP and all, because ultimately then there is a government procedure which is very lengthy, and they will lift the crop or they will collect it at a stage when that will not be any longer to consume in pickle or even in processing. And we mainly rely on an open crop or house to house sale in case we have some glut in the market. Then ultimately we target the cluster, target the project colonies, target the some kind of settlements, some kind of new areas where many households are available. And this is basically a kind of superfood nowadays everybody would like to have. But we faced never we faced any problem related to mushroom marketing in Himachal. But yes, people come from Punjab. They come from very far off places, and like Hoshiarpur, your Jalandhar, even Panipat in Haryana, Sonipat in Haryana, they send in tourist
Thank
buses
you,
to
sir.
Manali and every
Thank
area.
you for your insight. Any other questions from our audience?
I think everything is clear to the participants. And
Okay.
rather I was too boring or I was too clear that they could
No,
understand.
no, sir, we understood very clear. Your lecture was very interesting, and in fact, it has given us an insight into how technology can be a tool to achieve the self-reliance, which is the main motive of this webinar series also. Mr. Praveen Singh is asking, sir, how to get the capital that makes your idea into production? I think Mr. Praveen has
Yeah,
already answered.
I think I answered this earlier because I mentioned there
Yeah.
that we set up a mushroom unit long back in 2001, 2002. That time generating capital as a loan was very difficult. And there was lot many difficulties. Even if we had to have a loan, we need to have number of people who are giving a guarantee for a loan, and we have to have something which we can have a collateral to keep as a mortgage, land or fixed asset or FD. That time it was very difficult. But I am very happy this time with the announcement of the government for a 10 lakh rupees loan for an entrepreneur without any collateral. And there are lot many options in the market. For a startup also, if anybody is coming up as a startup, they get lot many grant in aid or some kind of seed funding from DST, from technology business incubators. And there are many options if you explore this with different agencies or Startup India kind of platform.
So Dr. Dhaliwal is asking, how can we get advantages of digital or ICT technology in promoting our products?
Basically, I'm not a person of a digital kind of thing. I'm a person of a rural background sitting in a very remote location. And I think I'm not an appropriate person to, answer this, that how we can link it to a digital platform like Amazon, Flipkart, and other places. I think Dr. Dhaliwal can ask somebody who is of a marketing and digital marketing expert. And I'm not of the field. I'll not be able to justify the answer.
Okay. Do we have any other questions from our participants or my faculty colleagues, or in case you want to speak something? Even so, while mentioning the challenges in your last slide, wherein you mentioned the challenges of mountain agriculture, you have in fact showed us a direction that how we as technologists can contribute to the society. And I once again thank you from the core of my heart for giving us a wonderful session on how technology can be a tool to achieve the self-reliance. And definitely, sir, yeah, one question from my side, in case you permit, sir. Can
Oh,
I
sure,
also
sure.
ask?
Go ahead.
Sir, how can we join hands with your company, with companies like you, in making technologies for the agriculture? Can we write some joint projects with you?
We run joint proposal with many organizations, right? And we can discuss it off the record, that the area we need to select, the technology we need to select, target groups we need to select, and officially we can collaborate with you, and that will be a great help to us, rather need a kind of institute taking us on board to develop a collaborative proposal in the field for implementation.
So,
And we'll be happy.
many
You are most welcome.
Thank you, sir. In fact, many of our participants, I think most of the participants, they are from technical background, they are from engineering colleges. So I think they must also be interested in knowing how to join hands with the organization like you. I would definitely get in touch with you, as we were discussing that day also, that what more we can do in this direction.
Yeah,
So,
that will be wonderful. That will be wonderful, and certainly we'll be there to collaborate. And I thank Dr. Meenakshi Sood and you and Professor Shyam Sundar Patnaik ji for taking me on board for this kind of event. And I hope that with this, I'm able to develop some kind of connection with the participants to collaborate and to explore more on the technology front for self-reliance. Thank you very much.
so before we end, I think there is just one last question from Mr. Pramod Kumar Singla, who says that everything will start. I think it's not a question; it's his views. I can say everything will start working well, provided we focus on population control and mass education.
Again, because we are looking to serve the population, we are not looking to control the population. Basically, again, the controlling population will be a different kind of a subject. That we are looking to address the need of a population, whosoever, wherever they are existing. Because control of population and other things, that again is a different arena, and we are not exactly working on those kind of initiative at the moment.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.